All right, guys. So it's springtime, which means it's that time of year where animals that have been hibernating all through the winter now come out. Um, so what that means for us here in Texas is it's snake season. So today's safety topic is going to be how to prevent and treat snake bites. So how do we prevent snake bites? Well, you want to be aware of your surroundings. Know that snakes may be swimming in water to get to higher ground, and then maybe hiding under debris or other objects such as logs, limbs, tall grasses, pieces of wood, anything that you may have lying around the house, out in the yard that makes good cover or good hiding places. If you do see a snake, you want to back away from it slowly and do not touch it. So, what are some signs of snake bites? Um, Most of the time, if you're out in the open, you're hiking through the woods or you're out in the yard or something, you're going to see the snake and you're going to know that you've been bitten. But if you're walking in high water, you may feel a bite, but not necessarily see a snake or know that it's a snake bite. You may think it's some other kind of bite or scratch from an insect or a fish or something else in the water. So you want to make sure you pay attention to the following snake bite signs. Depending on the type of snake, the signs and symptoms may include a pair of puncture marks at the wound, redness and swelling around the bite, severe pain at the site of the bite, nausea and vomiting, labored breathing, which in extreme cases, breathing may stop altogether, disturbed or blurred vision, increased salivation and sweating, and numbness or tingling around your face and or your limbs. So what do you do if you or someone else is bitten by a snake? So if you're bitten by a snake, you want to try to look at and remember the color and shape of the snake. This will help with treatment of the snake bite when you get to the hospital. You can tell them what it looked like so they can figure out what it was. And that determines what sort of antivenom or care that is going to be needed. You want to keep the bitten person still and calm. This will slow down the spread of the venom if the snake is venomous. You are going to want to seek medical attention as soon as possible. You're going to do this by dialing 911 or calling your local emergency medical services or EMS. And you're going to apply first aid if you cannot get the person to the hospital right away. You're going to do this by lying or sitting the person down with the bite below the level of the heart. You want to keep the person calm and still. You're going to wash the wound with warm soapy water immediately, and you're going to cover the bite with a clean, dry dressing. Some things that you don't want to do if you or someone is bitten by a snake is you don't want to pick up the snake or try to trap it. This will just scare it and may cause them to bite you or someone else, and we don't need two people that are snake bitten. Do not apply a tourniquet. Do not slash the wound with a knife. Do not try to suck out the venom. Do not apply ice or immerse the wound in water. Do not drink alcohol as a painkiller. And do not drink caffeinated beverages. Those last two are going to affect the rate in which your blood circulates through your body, which is going to cause the venom to circulate faster through your body, which can cause a lot of issues that maybe wouldn't have happened if you hadn't have drank the alcohol or the caffeinated beverages. So what kind of snakes do we need to be worried about here in Texas? So in Texas, the most typical one that we're going to have to worry about is going to be rattlesnakes. These guys are going to be usually brownish in color. They have a diamond pattern along their backs. There are many species of rattlesnakes in the U.S. They are the largest of venomous snakes, and they can quickly and accurately strike 1/3 or more of their body length from any position, whether they're coiled or stretched out. Rattlesnakes may be found sunning themselves near logs, on boulders or in open areas, and they may be found in mountains, prairies, deserts, and on beaches. Antivenom is recommended for the treatment of these bites to stop the worsening of local tissue injuries or systemic symptoms. Next up is going to be copperheads. Copperheads are going to vary in color from reddish to golden tan. The color bands on their body are typically hourglass shaped. They have a deep facial pit between each eye and their nostril. Most of the adults are 18 to 36 inches long. These guys are usually not aggressive, but will often freeze when frightened and will strike in defense if they feel threatened, if they're contacted, or if they're interacted with. People are more likely to be bitten when they unknowingly step on or near a copperhead. And the copperhead's going to be found in forests, rocky areas, swamps, and near sources of water like rivers, lakes, streams, ponds. Early administration of antivenom results in faster limb recovery and reduced limb disability after a copperhead snake bites you. So you can kind of see that these guys are going to blend in with leaves. So it may be kind of hard to see them. So really make sure you're checking your surroundings really well for these guys. Next up, we're going to have cottonmouths or water moccasins. So cottonmouth snakes average about 50 to 55 inches long. The adult snakes have a dark tan, brown, or nearly black skin with vague black or dark brown crossbands. That's going to be these two. The one on the left and the one in the middle here are going to be the adults. And the juveniles have a bold crossbanded pattern of brown or orange with a yellow tail. So that's going to be this little guy right here on the right. Cottonmouths are usually found in or around the water. So they're going to be around ponds, rivers, lakes. These guys like to hang out in the tall grasses around and bushes around the lakes and ponds. So if you're out in that kind of area, really watch where you're stepping. I've almost stepped on them quite a few times over the years. And, you know, when you realize it's there, it's a really scary feeling, guys. So really pay attention for these guys. And lastly, we're going to have coral snakes. So these guys aren't as much of a threat for us here in Texas, but you still may come across them. These snakes are sometimes confused with non-venomous king snakes that have similar color bands. So coral snakes are going to have yellow on red, and the king snakes are going to have yellow, not touching the red. It'll be touching the black, but not the red. See, these guys have yellow, black, yellow, red. When you see that, run. If you just see yellow, black, red with no yellow in between, then it's most likely a non-venomous king snake, which is not going to hurt you. Coral snakes are usually going to hide in leaf piles or burrow into the ground. So you're walking out in the woods and you see, you know, piles of leaves. Just be careful. Really, any snake will hide in piles of leaves. So you're going to really want to watch, you know, the leaves and make sure you can tell that it's all leaves and not snakes. So coral snakes are going to be in wooded, sandy, and marshy areas of the southern United States. Like I said, they can be a threat for us here in Texas, but our biggest threats here are going to be the cottonmouths, the copperheads, and the rattlesnakes. So take away from this, just make sure you're paying attention to where you're stepping, what's on the ground around you, and try to avoid these snakes. If you see one, run the other direction. You don't want to get bitten by these guys, but if you do get bitten, remember to stay calm, keep still, make sure you look at the snake, remember its color, its features, its head shape, as much as you can about it to let EMS and the doctors know. Call call 911 immediately. If you can't get help immediately, then you need to stay calm, elevate your heart above the bite, and make sure you wash out the bite area with warm soapy water and apply a dry, clean bandage to it. That's all I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and hopefully you remember this next time you go out hiking.